Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? This is Kyle and Mike from the Fantasy Phenom. We're back. 8-game NBA slate today. Got some baseball coming up later. We will be here to lead you into lock for baseball as well. We have new sheets out for baseball. Man, everything's a good day today, Mike. I'm feeling confident. How do you feel about basketball?
It's been a good week.
It's
been a good week, man. It's gonna be a good afternoon. I hope you guys rock with us. If you got nothing to do and you want to listen to us two talk about random basketball, baseball knowledge, I've been at it all morning. I've been at it all night. Ready to talk to you guys about it. Been a great day. Yesterday, I kind of talked to you guys about how I've been playing April with baseball, just kind of keeping it low key and working on different strategies.
We got a lock show tonight too, right?
Yeah, we will.
Oh shit!
And I've been playing most. We're gonna have to figure that out. Yeah, I haven't talked about that. But, yeah, and so I ended up cashing both sports, 2 for 2 in baseball. Just made a good bit of money last night. Had a top 5 finish in the $27 on DraftKings in the NBA. So I like this 8-game slate. Ready to bring it to you for those of you still rocking basketball. I think obviously the new day, new strategy, as we've seen over the past 2 weeks. So let's break it down, Kyle.
Hell yeah, dude. I love how I can always count on the same guys. They're always here first, man. Mike is always here first. Both Mikes are always here first. Rashad, CJ, Carlos, Benel, all these guys are always the first ones in.
Oh no. He's met his prerequisite to become a rapper. Got arrested for driving with a suspended license. Man, I hope you didn't have some unregistered firearms in there, because then that'd be the trifecta.
Album coming soon. Hey, all this DFS.
We're looking forward to it, man.
All the DFS money, he's funding his own label company.
Hey, I'll get a feature on a track. Let me get at it.
God, man, I would hate to hear Mike rap. Mike is not Eminem, so nor Logic nor G-Eazy. Mike is
No, I'm my own version.
What's that dude? The internet dude. He was like an Eminem wannabe. Slim something.
Nah, we'll just not go in there.
You know who I'm talking about, though. You're that guy.
NBA slate, April 5th, 8 games. We got a couple short slates if you're into that, but we got some good games tonight, guys. Just off the top here, games to look at. Obviously, Denver at Houston. Vegas has it as a 239 total. Obvious highest fantasy projected point total at 492. And put that in perspective, the lowest point total is projected to be Dallas at the Clippers at 404. It's almost a 100-point difference projected fantasy points. So you're going to be wanting to look at that game. There's a lot of injury news, rest news, and let's get into it, man.
All right. Do this little sort feature, web app. Do this little sort feature, web app. And bam. Russell Westbrook gets a triple-double today.
He's back.
He has the record. If he gets a triple-double today, Mike, I don't fade him. Don't do it. Just roster him. He's going to go for that triple-double. He's going to get it. Just roster him. Find other people.
I mean, tied Oscar yesterday. It wasn't really a great triple. It was more like an Elfrid Payton triple-double yesterday, not a Russell Westbrook triple-double. But the game was a blowout. I think they won by 45 points or something like that against Milwaukee, which is not a bad feat, man. Those are 2 teams fighting for position, so it's not like they were going up against a team that's out of it.
Yeah, Giannis did terrible. I was high on him.
It's a back-to-back. A lot of teams on back-to-backs today. Obviously, yesterday 11-game slate, today 8-game. Nice little price drop on DraftKings for Westbrook. Looks like a $600 price drop. However, against Memphis, man, I think there's a case to play Harden today. Harden against Denver.
Is he going to
OKC
play?
Versus Memphis. He's listed as probable. Obviously, he sat out last game with the illness, but I'm pretty sure he's playing today. Probable.
How's his wrist?
I mean, it's been a week. I think, again, I would rather play Harden against Denver than Westbrook against Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, the matchup is there. I agree. I don't know, man.
Yeah, matchups Matchups are so key in basketball, man. It's just again, it's pretty much black and white. The more possessions, the more fantasy points, and when you have a guy that literally has the ball for the entire game, he's going to benefit from having 30 more possessions than Russell Westbrook. It's just even if you don't like him as much,
Dude, there were 196 shots in the Denver Pelicans game last night.
I want to know what happened in fucking Brooklyn or in Philly.
141 points.
Brooklyn had 80 points at halftime. Telling you, Philly's giving up.
196 shots, though. Denver, New Orleans. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
And then, Brooklyn.
And that's what I'm saying.
And the crazy thing about Brooklyn is all the scoring was spread out. Nobody went off. Brook Lopez didn't hit value. Sean Kilpatrick had only 13 points. There was 9 guys that had over 10 points, but no one had 20.
I mean, I'm telling you, you guys got to target possessions. The total possessions in the San Antonio-Memphis game yesterday, 196.
There was
the total possessions.
196 shots in the Denver game.
The total possessions in the Denver-Phoenix game, or I'm sorry.
Denver-New Orleans.
New Orleans. Oh, man, just decided to reload on me. But I guarantee it was at least 30 more. But I just want to see this just because, Oh, man. 134 to 131, dude. Yeah, I had 2 lineups. One had Wall and Boogie. One had Westbrook and Gordon. Obviously, the one with Wall and Boogie was the one that. So I got Wall at 4% owned in single entries yesterday.
Wow.
People are tripping.
What games are you targeting today? Give me your top 3 games today before we get into this.
Denver, Houston, Golden State, Phoenix, and then there's not really another one that stands out. I think it has to be Cleveland and Boston, but I mean we'll get into that. And then you can cart San Antonio against LA.
By the way, everybody on Denver tonight is questionable. Literally, the entire team is questionable for rest.
Yeah, so they played 8 guys yesterday, and I'll get into the minutes distribution here in a second. Let me just get. So there was a total of 218 possessions in that game, so close to 20. What was that? That's 24 more possessions. Not too staggering, but still. They were running up and down. I mean, they had an 8-man rotation, Denver, and Kenneth Faried started and played 10 minutes. So check this out. DraftKings, Gary Harris 8 times value, Gallo 6.5 times, Plumlee 8 times, Murray 7 times, Chandler 5 times, Moutier 6.5, Jokic 4.5. So literally everybody hit value. You could have stacked that entire team.
Yeah.
And
done well.
Been 7 times value. Pretty nuts, man. And it's a back-to-back, so no one's price has changed, and you can make the case that they're in a better fantasy matchup against Houston than they were against New Orleans. I think it kind of. I don't see it being a 260-point total like that last game, but
still, yeah.
Pretty nuts. Yeah.
Okay, so obviously, real quick news: Andre Iguodala is out today. He's resting. There was some. Will Barton's out. Who else is out? I know. I think Duel.
Is he officially out, Will Barton?
I do believe so. Let me double check, but I do believe so.
Last time I looked, he was listed as questionable.
I thought I saw out.
He's doubtful. Okay.
Doubtful. Okay, so he's gonna be out.
Yeah, we have just going through the injury news. Kyle Korver's listed as probable. He played last game, 12 minutes. It is a back-to-back, so we'll see what happens there. Will Barton, doubtful. Faried is questionable. Jameer Nelson's listed as questionable. Darrell Arthur is probable.
Oh, Draymond's resting tonight as well.
Yeah, Draymond and Iggy are both out. They said that before yesterday's game. Sam Decker broke his hand. He won't play. Ryan Anderson remains out with his ankle. Trevor Ariza will be back today, so we won't have to worry about that. Tony Allen is questionable. He missed the last 2. Tariq Black is questionable after missing a game with a knee sprain. Brandon Ingram will be back. I think it'll be a second game back.
Yeah, he's back. He's in.
Ginobili and Danny Green are both listed as out, so the Spurs are without a shooting guard, a traditional shooting guard. So there could be some value there. Also, this is a back-to-back, and San Antonio played an overtime game against Memphis yesterday, so there could be some reason to believe you could get popped today against the Lakers.
Also, Lowry is questionable.
Really? Yep. I did. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Lowry is questionable today.
Interesting development. I guarantee he won't be playing much.
Yeah.
If he does.
Yeah, don't
and
play
then
him.
Dallas update. I doubt they play Dirk or Seth Curry again. There's really no reason to on a back-to-back with injury concern. They might as well just keep them out. Yesterday they rested. Who'd they rest yesterday? Wes Matthews, I believe. Yeah, they rested Wes Matthews, and looking at a lot of ownership, the Sharks were on Berea and Yogi, thinking that they were going to have to get increased run, and Nick Brasino stepped up, played 30 minutes. So did Dwight Powell.
I don't know who called that.
Yeah, right? Somebody.
Good job, Mike.
We'll see what happens. I still it's tough to go there. But definitely some value with all this resting injury stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. Again, this is going to be another day you're going to wait until closer to lock to make a line, man. Just don't. There's going to be so much value that opens up. I mean, put in your placeholders, but don't go crazy on lines right now because you're going to get more news and value's going to open up.
Yeah, I've been doing that pretty much the last 2 weeks. I wait till at least 5:30 or an hour and a half before lock to build lines. But let's talk about point guards. Obviously, Westbrook, Steph Curry without Draymond and Iggy, I imagine, is going to have to become more. I mean, a playmaking role because we've seen Draymond become the facilitator a lot in many possessions, whereas Steph Curry kind of tries to break free and hit a shot in rhythm. I don't know if I like that better or worse for him. It's the matchups there against Phoenix. What do you think? Like, Curry in being a traditional point guard now against Phoenix, does that hurt his value?
I like it, actually. I think without Draymond as well, Draymond plays a lot of point forward, so you don't have a guy that's going to come in and step up and take that, so you're going to get more assists, or at least times that the ball's in Curry's hand. So I do like...
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It might limit his catch and shoot value, but as far as assists and having the ball in his hand, it should be increased today in a nice spot against Phoenix.
Yeah, I do like Steph Curry tonight. I think he's in a great matchup. I like the Warriors' backcourt, actually, without Draymond.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul against Dallas, I'm going to stay away from that. Kyrie Irving against Boston and Isaiah Thomas against Kyrie, both these guys in play. You can make a case to stack both of them. I'm not opposed to it. I think these are probably the two best positions to target, respectively, on each of their teams, right, to go against.
Well, Tristan Thompson is out today. Yep. He will not play. He didn't travel with the team. So I really like Kevin Love.
He's going to be out a while.
They said at least 2 games. So we'll see what happens there. But without him, I like Kevin Love. We've seen in the past that when Tristan Thompson's out, Love just gets a higher minutes floor.
Rebound.
Plays some center. Channing Frye gets a bump as well to come in and play some extra minutes at the 4 or the 5. And it's a good matchup for them. And for that reason, I also like LeBron in this game, in this matchup. DVP also tends to agree. And so if I like Love and LeBron, it's hard to say I like Kyrie as well. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's fair.
Isaiah going up against Kyrie, I think people will be on that. 8,500 seems like a fair price.
I like that a lot.
He steps up in big games. I think there's some narrative in there.
I mean, these two teams fighting for the number 1 spot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely lean Isaiah over Kyrie. But there's really nobody else around here. I guess you can somewhat think perhaps some Dragic instead of Isaiah Thomas in the same price range, going up against Kemba. But Isaiah seems like the guy you want to pay up to today, him or Curry, if you're not going Westbrook or Harden.
What about Dragic against Charlotte? I like actually both these guys, Dragic and Kemba against each other. Yeah, no, so I like Dragic more than Kemba. I think Charlotte is 2.5 games out of 8th, and how many games are left? 7? 8?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how many they have left, but yeah, obviously
They're
both these teams are fighting.
Yep.
They're fighting each other, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they are. Indiana and someone else is actually tied for 8th now. The Bulls. Indiana and the Bulls are now tied for 8th. Miami is out of the playoffs at this moment.
Yo. I don't know. I think Dragic over Kemba. I'm pretty safely okay with saying that. I think they're both tournament plays, but either way, Either way, I'd like to pay up to Isaiah, but I'm not pissed if I can't, and I have to go Dragic.
David says Clay, Booker, Chris, and West from that Golden State game. I can see that. Isaiah went off last time they played one another. Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
I like Isaiah.
Yeah, he gets up for big games, man. And you got Cleveland coming in on a back-to-back.
Tom just said as well,
in a good matchup.
He sees Bradley on Kyrie, which I do agree. If I'm not mistaken, they actually did that last game.
Yeah, they've been doing that too.
And then you have Isaiah.
So for that reason, I like Bradley too.
Yeah, no, I love
think
Bradley.
You can.
Love Bradley.
Bradley has a top DVP last 10 as far as shooting guards on the slate. So either way, if Kyrie is on Bradley and Isaiah Thomas then gets J.R. Smith, it doesn't really make a difference to me. I think they're both in play. Just kind of depends on roster construction. Let's see here. We got D'Angelo Russell going up against the Spurs, 6,200. His price is dropping.
I don't know how much I like it.
What do you think?
I mean,
yeah, I think I'm gonna
fade that. Ulyss is 60 or 76 on DraftKings is an absolute no to me.
Yeah, he plays the minutes and doesn't do much with them, so
it's all
Devin interesting. Booker. I know. David just said that he loves. He just said he loves stacking this game. I think this is definitely one of the games to stack. Like I mentioned up top, definitely one of the games you're looking at. He said Booker. I tend to just avoid going up against Clay. I don't know. I know that you're not as high on that as I have been all season, but if Clay's going to be on Booker, I'd rather play Warren, I just kind of look at it as matchup based.
True.
I'd take Warren against Matt Barnes over Booker against Clay.
Toronto and Detroit. Ish Smith. I don't know how much I look there. I don't know if I look the reverse of Corey Joseph either.
Yeah, I think this game is pretty much a fade for me unless some value opens up. There's a couple good matchups. I think Ibaka's in a good matchup against the power forward spot and against Detroit.
Patty Mills has to get
but I'm not high on it either.
You would think, right?
Patty Mills is definitely going to be a guy. That's what I was kind of alluding to when I said,
Yeah.
Spurs played overtime game yesterday. Their starters played big minutes. I don't know. I feel like Tony Parker's in a prime spot for rest if Danny Green and Manu Ginobili weren't out.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps we just see limited minutes from him today, and this could be one of those 30-minute Patty Mills games for sure.
I can see it.
I think he's safe from being rested, whereas Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, I think all those guys aren't safe in this game.
Looking at shooting guard, you mentioned James Harden. Obviously, increased possession. Do you think he's okay? I'll trust your gut on that one. DeMar DeRozan against Detroit. I don't know how much I like it in Detroit, but I do think Toronto is in a good spot here. Devin Booker against Golden State. Again, not exactly high on targeting Clay, but the fact that it's Devin Booker and he's taking all of the shots.
No, you're right. He is, and he will. Even if he shoots 10% from the field, he's still going to take 20 shots. It's just the way they're doing it, and they're in prime tank mode right now. I think them and the Kings should probably just write a book about how to tank because they're pretty much doing it the best way they possibly could. But yeah, about Harden, again, guys, I guarantee people are going to be on him in this game. This again has almost a 240 implied, 240 total. This game is going to just have all the markings for fantasy numbers. I can see you fading both Westbrook and Harden today. I really could, but I know people are going to be on Harden in this game. So it's not an easy fade, but there's definitely a worthy fade conversation there. Again, I would rather play Clay than I would Booker. Save some money there to do it. Clay went off last night. Had him on both my lineups. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, Clay is in a good spot against Booker. We don't generally like to play him on the road, but
Yeah. Batum against Miami, I don't think I look there. Bradley, we mentioned him. I do like Bradley a lot tonight. I can do a Bradley
it's a
Isaiah
fair
stack.
price.
Yep. Gary Harris without Will Barton, obviously another good play. Price hasn't risen. Going to get Houston defense. Love that spot for him.
Who do you like more, man? Bradley or Harris?
I
I
think I
think they're
like.
both really
I think I like Bradley more
good.
actually.
I tend to lean the game, I think. Harris just has been going off lately.
Yeah.
I think his price would be higher than Bradley's if this wasn't a back-to-back. And I don't know, I like both those plays. I think those are my two favorite plays at a shooting guard today. As far as the Golden State backcourt, I think I'd rather try to lock in the value that Golden State's going to give us with these two guys resting and get my Golden State exposure there and pay down for one of these two guys as far as guards. Conley, I believe, is listed as questionable. I see him being mentioned in the chat here. He had to leave a game briefly. He got a face laceration, but it was right near his eye too. So, yeah, against Westbrook, I think that's a pretty good spot for him. Now that Gasol is back, though, I don't love it as much. I think we'll kind of want to wait for that price to drop a little bit.
Yeah, his price obviously inflated. Marcus
Could
Smart.
be a good tournament pivot off of Isaiah Thomas.
Marcus Smart, obviously off the bench, getting good minutes, so you can look there. Don't roster anybody on Dallas for the main until you know what's going on. Just don't do it.
Yeah, again, I imagine they sit Seth Curry and Dirk again, just because they have nagging injuries and they're playing for nothing really. So what's the point? I don't really know. And then we got Gordon and Lou Williams, man. I think I fade Caldwell Pope.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously, he's always in play, but I'd rather just talk about Gordon and Lou Williams. These guys are getting big minutes.
Makes sense, too.
All the guard. Yeah, I think you just look at all the guards in this game. All the guards in this game are in play. Pat Bev, Lou Williams. I said Lou Gordon. Lou Williams, Eric Gordon, Harris, Moutier, Murray. If Nelson doesn't play, Harris. All these guards are in play.
I think I lean
4,600 for both on FanDuel too. Good God.
It's cheap, man. Cheap in this matchup. Obviously, both tournament plays, but man, honestly, if you really wanted to and you didn't feel like rostering Harden or DeRozan, you could go down to Lou and Eric Gordon. They're both getting minutes, and you're gonna have value to spend up elsewhere. That could be what you do if you want Russell Westbrook.
Yeah. No, I can see that too. I think I did that the other day, actually. When Harden was out, I just played both Gordon and Lou Williams.
Tony Allen, you mentioned, is questionable. Danny Green's out.
If Tony Allen does not play, we've seen Troy Daniels get increased runs, and Wayne Selden as well. So both those guys, I don't think Wayne Selden's in play. He's been playing like low 20s in minutes and not really putting up any fantasy production, whereas Troy Daniels, man, I continue to fade him. I don't think his hot shooting is worthy of
A roster
chasing.
spot. Yeah. If I was you, I wouldn't really look.
I was just gonna.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
turn my. I was just gonna talk about punts. Obviously, I mentioned Troy Daniels, Nick Brasino again. If Wes Matthews is out, I bet you Wes plays today. I mean, I don't see him resting 2 days in a row. For what it's worth, Harrison Barnes told the media that he wants to play all 82 games and doesn't want to be considered in this whole resting scenario. So we'll see if the coach lets him, or the organization lets him do that. Sean Livingston, Ian Clark, I guess, got to be looked at for the value, but I wouldn't target the front court Golden State value.
That's fair. The lowest I go at shooting guard is probably Lou and Eric Gordon. I just feel like for price, you're not going to get better upside, and so I wouldn't really punt lower than that.
Yeah, I like a lot of the mid-range guys. Again, Lou, Eric Gordon, Gary Harris, Avery Bradley.
Yeah. LeBron James against Boston. obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not much to be said there. Kawhi Leonard against LA. I worry about rest. The game doesn't mean anything to San Antonio. And even if he doesn't rest, limited minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to like the spot, though.
Absolutely, you love the spot,
Yeah,
but
definitely tournament play. LeBron, I like LeBron's spot a lot, too. I think I'd rather pay up $500 for LeBron for the minutes safety, and still a pretty good matchup. But yeah, I like TJ Warren. I really like Wilson Chandler. I like Gallinari. I mean, I like almost all the plays in that game. So at some point, I'm going to have to decide what. I think roster construction is going to be what comes down to who I play out of that game, Denver, Houston.
for sure.
Again, with Barton being out, that is minute safety for Harris and Gallo, and it also is usage is safety for Chandler on the second team.
This is true as well. I like Gallo tonight, though.
Yeah, he had a great game yesterday. So.
Where are we looking? Brandon Ingram against San Antonio. No, thank you. Iguodala's resting. Ariza, I can see, especially if he's back. Ryan Anderson out. Like that.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to probably play power forward. So for what it's worth, without Decker and Anderson and sliding Ariza to power forward, the last game they had to start Troy Williams at small forward. But I think if Harden is back today, they'll probably go back to having Pat Bev, Harden, and Eric Gordon in the starting lineup. That's what they did 2 games ago. They started Eric Gordon at the 3 and played Ariza at the 4. Just went real small.
Okay. Man, I don't.
Let's see.
What else is there, really?
There's not much else here.
Yeah, there isn't.
I think you can look at. Again, I hate to say this. I wrote off DeMar Carroll yesterday, and he ended up having a good game. It was a good DVP matchup against Indiana. He gets another one today, going up against Detroit. Maybe you look there for value, but I really don't love it. Again, Magruder. Yeah, he's a small forward value. Again, he doesn't give you upside, but he's a safe value guy that the price hasn't changed, and he's been giving you 20 fantasy points pretty regularly. The matchup doesn't really scare me, obviously, going up against Washington with limited minutes for Porter, and this guy, Magruder, getting like close to 30. Where else to look at? I don't know. I wrote down Jeremy Lamb. I don't know why. I just felt like it could be a...
Mike, Roto Grinders is saying that Troy Williams is going to start tonight and Gordon will come off the bench.
Okay, interesting. I don't know what that means, really, except that Lou Williams and Gordon playing together usually means a recipe for one or the other type thing.
Yeah. I don't see both going off together.
Especially with their price points on DraftKings. You could probably still do it on FanDuel.
Jose asked TJ Warren and Matt Barnes. Warren, yeah, I guess, no. I don't know. I'm not as high on TJ Warren. I'd rather roster Devin Booker. And then Matt Barnes, I just think there's increased usage for Clay and Steph. I don't think Matt Barnes becomes a pivotal part of that offense.
Yeah, I don't know. For what it's worth, DVP doesn't really say go pay up for Phoenix, to be honest with you guys. Yeah, it's definitely a high point total game, but I'm thinking, going up against Golden State isn't really like, if you think about it, like, playing Phoenix against Golden State, yeah, it makes sense in fantasy, but in real life, that doesn't really make much sense, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't target, I think you got to pick and choose one of these guys, but I wouldn't be surprised if neither of them hit value today. I think, again, I lean TJ Warren going up against Matt Barnes over Devin Booker going up against Klay Thompson. And you get a little bit of a price drop, but they're both overpriced going up against the Warriors. Yeah, it's a back-to-back, but I don't know. There could be something to look into there.
Power forward, Jokic is 9,400 on DraftKings again, 10K on FanDuel. I think I like him.
9,400's still a solid price. I don't really know who on Houston can
stop him. Yeah.
Yeah, again, back-to-back, big man if you buy into that. I don't know that I necessarily do on FanDuel. Again, that him being that he's a power forward, I understand why his price is a little bit higher. Yeah, I like it. The only really difference between the lineups today, if Nelson doesn't play, is that Duel Arthur is listed as probable to play. So you get one more guy into this rotation, but that won't really affect. I think if anything, it just affects Plumlee's minutes, maybe Chandler's minutes.
See, I wonder, do you think Plumlee hits value again then? That's I guess, where the concern is, right? Because people are going to be on Plumlee.
Well, Plumlee's got me concerned about Wilson Chandler, to be honest with you.
So you're looking reverse, okay.
Yeah. So, like, yesterday on the second team, Plumlee was the guy to have, not Wilson Chandler without Barton. But I think he could easily be the opposite today. I think one of those two guys is going to lead the second team in usage, in my opinion.
Real quick, Brian confirms Troy Williams starting. Andrew asks, how do you sign up for the sheets? That link is right below in the description. And David asks, would you stack Cleveland and Boston? Big game. Yes, I definitely think you can. I mentioned
pick your spots for sure.
Isaiah Bradley. I don't look at it as a full game stack, but I think you can stack pieces. Isaiah and Bradley are in good spots. I think you can look at Kevin Love, as Mike said. Obviously, you attack Boston's rebounding. Kevin Love will play increased center minutes. Channing Frye's possible value. LeBron James always in play. With being on those two guys, I think I agree with Mike. And the possibility of Avery Bradley guarding Kyrie, I think I'm off him.
So I think you can go both studs in this game, Isaiah and LeBron. But if you want to pay up for the studs like Harden and Jokic in this Denver-Houston game, which I probably would like more, I think you can still find value in that game with Love and Bradley. Just gut feeling, go Boston backcourt, Cleveland front court.
I like that strategy.
I think Fry is some good value too with Thompson out. Don't love it, but I think it's all right.
Yeah, I'm not.
Power forward punts besides Fry. I mentioned Powell, obviously. He's minimum salary, played 33 minutes this game. I think if Dirk is out again, they're very reluctant to play Noel more than 25 minutes. Like if he's not going to play 25 minutes last game without Dirk and with all those people, without Wes Matthews and without Seth Curry, if he's not going to play 25 minutes in that game, I just don't think it's going to happen going forward. There's no reason to. So, yeah, I think there's some value there. Kevon Looney, we saw him get some big run in that game where they rested their starters against San Antonio. I don't know if there's something to look at there. McAdoo got garbage time yesterday. He seemed to be ahead of Looney in the rotation yesterday in the blowout. So if you're looking for the value with Draymond out, perhaps they're punt worthy.
Okay. Do you like Marvin Williams, James Johnson, any of these mid-range guys? And his Cantor, 4,400 down on DraftKings now. Price just keeps dropping.
For Cantor? Yeah. Well, Steve Adams had himself a game yesterday. Obviously, Cantor against Memphis. I don't know. 4,400 is cheap. I think there's definitely something to look at there. But again, he is only a center. Someone asked who's going to start with Tristan Thompson out. I bet it's going to be Richard Jefferson.
And what, move Kevin Love to the 5?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. It's either going to be that, or they go Channing Frye at center, or but yeah, Love has been the backup center for a lot of this year. Also, people are high on West. Yeah, I think David West is the punt.
Yeah, he's going to be chalky.
I think they're all worthy of the talk, man. They're all worthy of the talk and the chalk.
Any other questions? Let's see what they have.
James Johnson, perhaps?
I like James Johnson. I do.
Boston power forward punt, going up against whoever's going to start in that front court against...
I'm going to guess it's probably... I see I'm not gonna try and guess this, but if I had to make a guess, I would say Kelly Olynyk gets some run today.
Obviously, check for that man bun pregame warm-ups.
I tweeted out
Uh,
the beat writer, and he never responded to me. I was quite offended.
I
I
guess we're
asked
just going to have to watch the warm-ups in that game.
I asked if he could get me an update on the man bun, and he didn't answer.
Rotor Grinder said Fry and Jefferson will split minutes. So they're pretty much telling you they have no idea. Which I will tell you straight up, I have no idea. I won't go ahead and say they'll split minutes. Sorry, that was like a low-key shade, bro. Yeah, that's all I got.
Tom says not in the mirror game. I love the hippie.
Yeah, it could be something there. Larry Nance going against San Antonio if Tariq Black is out again. I don't know. Maybe you look there.
I like that. Thomas Robinson.
Yeah, same rationale.
Okay, so I think Hassan Whiteside's going to be a pretty popular play today,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go reverse. Cody Zeller at 4,900 against Hassan Whiteside on the road. Well, Cody Zeller at home. I love, dude.
It's bold. I think in that mid-range, it's hard to get away from Capella again in this game. But I think you can. I think you're going to get, they don't play Capella much, like more than 28 minutes. So he gets his, though, in the time. But yeah, I like the Zeller call, man. I think his price no one ever plays him, so his price stays the same. Upside, is the issue with him.
But I think he can
There
get
could be,
25 points, rebounds, and yeah, dude.
yeah. No, he's showed a solid floor. Whiteside, I don't know. I think if I'm paying up at center, I'm just going to go to Jokic.
I can see the Whiteside call on FanDuel. You obviously, you got it. Well, I guess they're
Yeah.
not the same position, but you still got to choose. But you talk about attacking Charlotte's rebounding. Whiteside is the guy that's going to gobble up rebounds, and this is going to be an intense game, I think. Both these teams are fighting for playoffs, right? So
Yeah, it is. It is. No, I do like Whiteside. I think that's pretty. It's pretty smart. I bet you that he's not going to get as much ownership as you think with the amount of studs and good spots, and a lot of
That's
people
true.
are going to be off of.
That's true.
They're not going to find weight reasons to pay up there, and I think there's some good spots at center. Like I said, I don't chase Nerlens Noel. Again, I don't. 4,800 is still nice. Maybe you do. I think you can go back to Noel on DK. 62, I don't think so. Capella, JV, Pau Gasol, all the same price. You know what that means.
Dude, Pau Gasol
Gotta look
kills the
there.
Lakers. Kills them.
I know, and I'd be high on it if it wasn't this whole back-to-back thing. I think you got to look at Deadman too. Minimum salary on DraftKings.
Deadman came back in a lot of optimals, and it makes sense going up against Lakers, and he's got a safe floor for minutes.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite value plays today. I think he's going to still play 20 minutes against the Lakers. At minimum salary, 20 minutes is all you need against the Lakers.
And I'd imagine you talk about the concerns for Gasol rest. I don't know if that means a lot of increased minutes for Deadman, but I can imagine maybe another 5.
Yeah, definitely. I like it. And if you look at the 2 games against the Lakers this year, he's averaging 28 DraftKings points. So that's almost 10x at minimum salary. Nene, I think, is a good punt. Obviously, I'm looking at every piece of this game. 4,100 against Denver. I think he matches up well with Plumlee, so I'm sure he'll get some minutes today. I'm not going to chase Steven Adams against Memphis. Larry Sanders, for what it's worth, has been recalled from the D-League. He played 2 minutes once this year.
Twice this year he's played 2 minutes.
I don't know. He's back, though.
I don't think...
Is this...
I don't know. I think he was a pure depth move, but...
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm just saying, for what it's worth noting, he got recalled from the D-League. People I know have, get hard-ons for Larry Sanders, so we'll just talk about it.
David thinks Aldridge sits. What do I think of David Lee? I mean, David Lee got popped a couple days ago, right?
I know it's just not safe, dude. I think I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have one lineup where I have Spurs guys, and I have one lineup where I don't. But I think I'll have Dedmon in both. I just really think that's solid value. It just sucks that he's a center. Really limits what you can do as far as roster construction, especially on FanDuel, obviously.
I'm really high on Zeller.
And I think it's a good way to get away from the chalk, the Golden State chalk, front court chalk.
Yeah, David West and whatnot, yeah. So if you're looking GPP-wise, absolutely.
Did you say you're high on Chandler?
No, I'm high on Zeller. Chandler doesn't play.
I know, I was like, that's a funny joke there, Kyle. Oh, yeah, so teams to target, I think I like targeting Denver over Houston, but I like the game as a whole. San Antonio, we talked about. Golden State, we talked about. I'm not super high on targeting Phoenix. I probably won't.
What about Marquise
and then
Chris
this Miami-Charlotte game is sneaky. Marquise Chris.
going up against David West.
What's his price?
David mentions Alex Len as well. Hoops thinks Zeller will have 13 points. I don't know. I like Zeller a lot against Hassan Whiteside. I love targeting Hassan Whiteside's defense. And on the road, too. Hassan Whiteside is much better at defensive-wise, like DVP-wise, at home than he is on the road. And the fact that he's on the road.
I don't know. I kind of like a Dragic Whiteside or a Dragic James Johnson two-man stack. I think it'll be low owned today, and I think it's got potential.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'll go there, but perhaps. Marquise Chris at 5,700. Can you sort by price on DraftKings? See what other options are. I think there's probably going to be. Looks like James Johnson is in that price range.
So you have
Dirk. If he is probably, I don't think he's going to play. Tobias Harris, Serge Ibaka. Yeah, he definitely stands out. I think James Johnson and Marquise Chris stand out amongst the rest in that little spot there. I could get behind Marquise Chris.
Hoops thinks the game will be Miami 103, Charlotte 98.
Cool.
Interesting.
I bet you that's pretty close to what it'll be.
It's going to be.
I think Miami wins this game.
I have Charlotte winning at home, but
we'll see what happens, man.
Definitely be interesting to see. Yeah. Any last minute thoughts?
Last minute thoughts, I guess. As far as roster construction, again, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to pick my guys as far as this Denver-Houston game first. I think the first guy that I want to lock in is Gary Harris. If Will Barton and Jameer Nelson are both listed as out, he's just been on a very good run to this as of late. He's too cheap for what he's doing. Under 6K is just way too cheap. And I don't know. I just really like what he's been doing lately, and that's the guy I'm probably going to lock in from that game. Obviously, I'm looking at Jokic and Harden as well. I think I like Jokic more than Harden just a bit. But I probably will lock in Harden at first, not because I like him as much, but because I want to see what I can build a roster around him. Now, if I have Dedmon and Jokic, I can't play any other centers, and that's going to limit what I can do. So, again, it's going to be a little fun playing roster construction. Dedmon, I think I like it for value.
LeBron or Jokic? Ethan asks. I think I go LeBron.
I don't know. They're both on back-to-backs. They're both in pretty good games. I think you can make the case for either one. I'm going to lean Jokic.
Okay.
I think it's like $100,000 cheaper.
Yeah, I guess if you want to look, if it comes down to if you have the money and it doesn't require you to change your roster, I go LeBron. If you need it for lineup construction, I go Jokic because I think both are in good spots.
I really like the Patty Mills, Dwayne Dedmon two-man stack today, guys.
That is actually a really nice stack. I didn't think about that.
That'll probably be in both lineups for my value today.
Hoops also has the Cavs winning. Boston is a 4-point favorite. I think Boston wins this game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, guys. I think if you have Harris and Jokic in a line, I think you can easily pivot to Bradley and LeBron as far as price points.
Yeah.
Like if you just want to have one line with the same people and have Harris and Jokic, and then the other line have Bradley and LeBron, and just fire those two in tournaments, they'll both cash pretty much. If the rest of your 6 guys go off, they should both cash. But that's what I did yesterday. Again, I had the same lineup. One had Boogie and Wall, and the other had Westbrook and Aaron Gordon. Now, only one of them cashed, but it's just that's just because Westbrook is such a polarizing person based on price point. But it's something I like to do a lot. And again, there'll be a lock show tonight, so we can talk more about roster construction there. It's very interactive. If you guys want to talk to me about like what you're doing, what you're looking, what I'm looking at as far as roster construction, I think it's huge as far as strategy late in the season.
Yeah, the lock show is more so. It's really like a question and answer. It's a little different format from how we do this show, right? Because we're not so much breaking down a slate. It's more so like come to Mike with your questions.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just me talking to you guys. Because I don't like talking to myself. If you guys, the first people in there will tell you, like, man, it must be boring that first 5 minutes because I'm just like looking around, like kind of awkward. All right, I'll just talk about pivots, I guess. But once you guys start firing off questions, it gets into a rhythm, and it's fun. It's a fun time.
Whitley asks, why do you like Mills over Moutier?
Again, I like targeting the Lakers. I also don't know that Moutier and Murray will continue to do what they've been doing. So Moutier's been playing point guard the last 2 games, and Murray's been playing shooting guard. I think on any given turnover for Moutier, they could just go back to him being on the bench. Again, there's a reason Moutier hasn't played in 2 months. Obviously, this is a good matchup or the game to target, but I think you can make the case that targeting the Lakers front or backcourt is just as juicy as targeting that game. And if, again, Tony Parker coming on a back-to-back, there's no Ginobili, there's no Danny Green, there's no DeJounte Murray. For that reason, you could say Kyle Anderson could be a punt today. I mean, who else is going to play shooting guard?
Brian asks, why are people still playing Westbrook on FanDuel? 1 time in the last 10 games hitting 5x? No way. I swear
That's not true.
There's no way. He's hit 6x.
Yeah, he had 99 points. Let's just say 99 points against Orlando. That's why. If you didn't have him, you didn't cash.
Okay, so let me see. I want to see. 68 versus Charlotte, value. 88 versus Orlando. 65 versus Dallas. 66 versus Houston. 60.
And it's not about... If Westbrook hits 4 times value, you're okay. Like, that's the reason you roster him.
Yeah.
Because him hitting 4 times value is 60 points, and he has the most fantasy points on the slate. I'm telling you, just from playing every day, like, you're not rostering him because you want him to hit 5 times value. You're rostering him because everybody else is, and because even if it hits 4 times value,
you're still behind.
Your roster stays afloat. You're not going to be in the top 5%, but you're afloat for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, 5x value at 1,300 would be 65, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he said that. All right, well, we'll be back. What we'll probably end up doing, I'd imagine, Mike, is you'll probably...
I just have to jump off.
Yeah, you'll jump off the baseball lock show and hop onto the NBA, so... be a packed day for us, but we'll get it done. And I'll be back. We'll both be back probably. Baseball's 4:05, so we'll probably be back 2:30. Get an hour in, and then you hop off and do the 30-minute lock show. So.
Yep. So my time 5:30 Eastern.
Yep. So 2:30 my time, 5:30 Eastern time, and all right. We'll see you guys then.
See you guys later.